world. You only look at it from the technical point of view, and you lose it. Men live in their own world. So when you get into the man's world, there are certain things that a man requires in a relationship. And once certain things begin to have challenges, he'll be looking at them in perspective of abuse, neglect, or ignorance. So, for instance, the prime thing that every man needs in a relationship is respect, appreciation, and honor. That's why when you insult a man, it hurts him so much to the core that if you are not careful, the marriage will collapse. That's it, because that's a man's world. Anytime you have sat in a divorce case or something, the first thing that comes from the man is that, Obani Mwade.
I hear that a lot.
That's what you hear. But that's the world of a man. That is his world. If the man doesn't have that, he thinks that there's something wrong. So anytime you tamper with a man's respect, whether by emotionally, whether mentally, or whether physically, or anything that you do, that the man seems to look at it and say, no, my respect, my honor, who I am, is being challenged. Then the man begins to react. That's the first prime thing of a man. The second prime thing that a man, every man needs, a man needs a helper.
Okay.
It's our prime thing. When we don't get them, we don't survive. And when we talk about help, we are not talking about help in terms of only finances. We need emotional help. We need financial help. We need somebody who will be there for him. That's why every man wants a woman who is a homemaker.
Okay, peaceful.
Yes, So when you begin to see that this woman become a
then you know that.
So that's how a man reacts. And tell you what makes a man is sex.
Okay. Sex.
Joke with it. Yesterday you chop.
Today go chop.
Today if you want chop.
You go chop.
And you say, I'm not feeling fine. Well, no go chop. But to the woman, yesterday you chop.
So today you forgive me.
But the man, you go see something. You want to try. You know if you chop, wahala don't come. That's a man's world. A man cannot survive without sex. Yes, a man cannot survive. So when a man sees that, one, my respect, honor, and appreciation is challenged. Two, I don't have a person who is helping me, but rather he's acting in variance with the help. And three, he sees that there's a woman who doesn't care about my sexual life. Then the man begins to look at it. Is it negligence? Is it ignorance? Or is it abuse? So the level of it will determine how the man will react and how the man will let other people know what is happening. So that's a man's world. So when you want to talk about abuse, you discuss it in a man's world, it fits in. When it comes to a woman's world, it's different.
It's different.
You see, your world and our world, they are not the same. It's
totally different.
So that's how a man will react. And when the man sees these things, and he sees that, no, my personality, my identity is being challenged, then he will think otherwise.
Well, it looks like the conversation has already started. It's getting really heated up because a lot of us, when we talk of abuse, we are looking at something else. But now look at what he's saying. It's quite different from women. And now this morning, we've also been joined via Zoom. And, well, our guest is also Dr. Yenusum Malag. I hope I got the name right. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. But he's also a specialist psychiatrist. I hope he's joined us right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Good morning to Reverend Annan and your viewers.
How are you doing, sir?
You got the name right. Yenusum Maluk. I'm a psychiatrist at Pantine Hospital.
Okay. Are you Ghanaian?
I'm Ghanaian. Yenusum means God's help. I'm from Northeast region, so it's a Ghanaian.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I'm from the north too, but I was trying to be sure if the name. Oh. Oh, wow, that's interesting. I am from Navrongo. At this point, I don't know whether I'm in Northeast or North South. I don't know which of them, but I'm also from Navrongo. And quite interesting. That's good to know. I mean, Pastor was saying something, and now it's like we gradually get to know the difference when we talk of abuse from the women's side and the man's side. Is it difficult for men to actually come out to always let us know whether they are being abused or not?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity and for this topic. Abuse in relationships with respect to men is something that we hardly speak about or talk about, perhaps because of our social construct, whereby we see the man as being tough, we see the man as somebody who should not express himself. But this is something that happens, and it does happen on a frequent basis. Just like Reverend Anan alluded to, this happens a lot. And I just wanted us to first understand what abuse is, and then what relationship abuse is, and then we can look at the various forms of abuse. But to answer your question, yes, it does happen. But because of our social construct, men do not readily want to show or come out that they are being abused. And perhaps we don't even understand what it is. Okay, so what is abuse? I'll share with you some various definitions. One from the dictionary says that abuse is using something for a bad purpose. So if you are in a relationship and you are used for a bad purpose, you are abusing it. Another definition says that abuse is to treat with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly. So you are treating someone. So let's say the female partner is treating the male partner with cruelty and violence on a regular basis or repeatedly. That is abuse. Now, what does relationship abuse mean? So the Center for Relationship Abuse Awareness defines relationship abuse as a pattern of abusive and coercive behaviors used to maintain power or control over a former or a current partner. A pattern of abusive and coercive behaviors used to maintain power or control over a former or a current partner. Just to make this simple, essentially, abuse in a relationship is a pattern of controlling behavior. And with respect to men, it can come in the form of emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, and physical abuse, sometimes even spiritual abuse.
Wow. I know that you've actually probably had people come to you to share their stories with you one way or the other. Can you share some of the stories probably you've experienced from men or talking to men?
Yes, so Reverend Anan, when he was speaking, got me laughing at some point because he was so on point, you know.
Yes.
Let me just make this disclaimer. I'm a man, but I'm a professional. So usually when you have cases coming to your desk, especially a gentleman and a wife having their own issues, and perhaps one person has developed one mental disorder or the other, and they come before you, you've got to treat it. You've got to be non-judgmental. You've got to be professional. So sometimes you have the man complaining that the woman does not respect him, does not provide for his sexual needs, etc., etc. And the woman too would go ahead and say that, oh, he doesn't provide me the money, etc., etc. But bottom line, if you try to use or deny the man certain things because you want to gain a certain advantage, that is a form of abuse. So I'll talk about the emotional abuse, the disrespect part.
Okay. Now, let me, I wanted to ask Pastor something. I see that you two, you know, you are coming from almost the same angle, but let's say that we're married and maybe I'm supposed to do something. And today, I'll take sex, for example. You come today, we do it. The next day you come, maybe today, dear, I'm tired, or maybe one or two things because of that, I can't do it. Is that to say that you don't respect your partner, or will somebody say that that's also an abusive marriage or relationship?
I believe one of the things I quite often talk about is that when people are married, I think the motive and the orientations in marriage, they miss it. When you are young couples, enjoy the best. For instance, if it's bedroom, if it's kitchen, if it's tablet, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, when chop. The issue is not a game. The issue is love. You see, you are sharing love. So it's love making, not sex. It's not a game. It's not an adventure. I'm sharing love with you. When you begin to think about it in that perspective, then understanding could be built.
Okay.
Then style could be built. Then harmony could be built. Then learning could be built. But when people start marriage and they don't get it, then they come with wrong orientations. And they expect those wrong orientations to be implemented by the spouse. Me, I don't understand your orientation. You, for instance, if you are married to somebody who has had a very multiple sex life before, what's that? Too much. Every side. Oh, sorry. It's in the morning. So, to that woman's world, that's how he sees it. So, he is able to contain it every time.
Every time.
I've had an occasion that a certain man came to me and told me that, Pastor, I have to remove my ring because he said all that she wants every day is a tablet before she sleeps. I said, Pastor,
to me.
Why? Because of the orientation of the woman. So when we don't begin to look at it from that perspective, that's where we have the frictions. But actually, when sex is the best thing, I'm telling you, sex.
Yeah.
But you see, when you don't understand it, it becomes something else. But when you love each other, and maybe there is a challenge, you begin to understand. But for instance, I chopped yesterday. And I want chop today. And at the end of the day, I say, Abosu ba na meja paye. Then I say, Mami, I want. Then the person will begin to understand. Then the sacrifice will come in. Okay. But when you come like a certain guy I knew, when you mean the wife is responding fufu, sorry, rather, then that one it has become work. There is no feeling in it. But when the people, their orientations about sex, they are properly oriented, they begin to change their attitude towards it.
Okay. This is interesting. And, well, it looks like we have some people already calling in to share their experiences. And I want a counselor to also know that we'll come back to him. If I have a caller on the line, I'd like to say hello to you first of all. Hello, good morning. We don't have... Okay. So, well, I want you to call in and share your experience with us as well, because it looks like it's not just one thing. There are quite a number of them. And you can call us by calling this number 0302-211-693 or 4. The number is on the screen right there. Just give us a call and share your experiences with us, because today we the women will also want to hear, because most of the time it's the women who are complaining. He's abusing me, he's doing this, he's done that. But today we want to hear from you the men, so that some of the things that perhaps we don't see as abuse, we see them as normal things, we can also learn and find a proper way of, helping ourselves. I mean, not just us, helping one another. Let me move to my big brother here. I mean, I'd ask you to share some experiences with me per your clients or anyone who's visited you, or what are some of the stories they've been sharing with you. So we would like to hear that before, we get some of the phone calls. Oh, looks like we can't hear you. Can you please check the, the button on your, yes. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll share some, but know that because of patient-doctor confidentiality, I'm unable to go into specific details. Okay, so you have instances. I will share a few whereby a gentleman and the wife, so their wife was brought to the hospital in a police escort. Apparently, she had tried to take her life, so to speak. Okay. And the police were involved, and then The police brought her to the hospital the next day with the husband. And what was the issue? She says that in the evening, she hears the man making phone calls in the other room because the man doesn't sleep with her, you know, and she believes that the man, you know, is cheating on her and then does not want to satisfy her, etc., etc. When
Sir, can you please hold on a second for me? Let me pick up this call quickly. Please hold on a second for me. Hello, Ken. Good morning. Hello? Hello? Okay. All right. Hello? Looks like I've lost my caller. Please call back because I'd like to hear your stories. And sir, please, can you please go on? Yeah, so when you now speak to the man tells you over a certain period, he's been denied the intimacy he deserves. He's not there with the respect, and he's not even allowed to get close to the lady. So he then decided to keep to his space, and that one too became a problem to the extent that there were threats of, if you do this, if you don't make time for me, I'll take my life. But when he also makes time, the lady doesn't provide the intimacy or the care and affection that he needs. So this is just one instance. I'll share with you another instance. Please hold on. Let me pick up this call and then we'll come back to you for the second instance. Hello, Wisdom from Ameya. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Wisdom?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Wisdom, please, is there an experience you want to share with us this morning?
Yes, I want to find out if your wife describe you and insult you in part of abuse.
Okay, let me just throw that to Pastor here before I move. Pastor,
yes, it depends. Even sometimes, quite often, what is more dangerous is when the person uses your tribe. He uses your tribe to insult you, or uses your family to insult you, or uses anything, maybe your past, something that you did not do well, then the person used that to insult you. He's insulting you not only as words, but it's insulting your integrity, your identity, and your personality. So it's an abuse.
Nanama, please, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Nanama?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, Nanama, please go ahead. Oh, thank you so much. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. I'm a married woman. I've been married for the past 6 years. I have 2 kids and I'm currently pregnant. My problem is, initially, for the first 3 to 4 years of my marriage, things were great with my husband. But about 2 years ago, things have changed, especially when it comes to intimacy. You know, taking care of kids is not easy. But no matter how exhausted I am a full-time worker, and I'm the same person taking care of my kids. But in the evening, no matter how exhausted I feel, he'll just come and tap you and say, I want to come. And it is continuous. There's no form of communication because most of the time he's not around. He comes home very late. He doesn't make friends though. He spends time with his family as much as he can. But because of his work, that hardly happens. And so because of the communication, lack of communication, I feel our bonding is, we are kind of going a bit apart. And working with the kids, he hardly spends time with the kids. I've tried on so many occasions for us to build that gap, but it's like he tries just for an hour or two and he relaxes. And so anytime he wants to be intimate, I'm not really in the mood. Is that a form of an abuse? Not that I'm pregnant.
Oh, you're pregnant for the third one?
Yes, this is my third one.
Okay.
Now that I'm pregnant, my libido seems to be off because I'm almost always exhausted, and I'm always taking care of the kids and other things. And so when he comes around and he tells me this is what he wants to do, it puts me off because he doesn't put in any effort in terms of romance and in terms of communication, nothing. And by the time he returns from work, I would have done all the house chores. Feeling very exhausted. On top of it, he wants to do what someone will call shooting. Is that a form of an abuse? Because I'm kind of getting a bit frustrated.
Okay. Nanama, thank you so much for calling in. I'll take Mami Adwoa's call and then I'll share for you both so you can. Hello, Mami Adwoa, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Mami Adwoa?
I'm doing fine.
Okay. Mami Adwoa, please, can you lower the volume of your TV set?
Good morning, madam.
Yes, good morning. Please lower the volume of your TV set, please. Mami Adwoa.
My problem is, I've been married for almost 30 years now.
Okay.
And there was an issue. There was an issue, and since about almost 9 years now, my husband has not slept with me. So, in fact, it's about 8 months now. He called me that he wants to share with me. I mean, we should go to bed. But in fact, I'm not feeling for him again. What should I do?
Okay. Thank you so much, Mami Adwoa, for calling in to share with us. And Counselor, I want you to take Nanama's own, and then I think our brother here can also take Mami Adwoa's own.
Nanama, thank God that your husband is still coming to you. Praise God, hallelujah for that.
Amen.
Because you see, if the husband is still coming for you, then it means the husband have you in heart. The issue around her case is ignorance. The man doesn't know parenting.
Okay.
So there's lack of parenting. He doesn't know how parenting, how kids, how we should handle kids, how we should cherish them, how we should bond. Number two, when you look at the issue, you will begin to see that the woman is also giving over attention to the children. These things even having worse when people have issues before they got married. If, for instance, if a woman had a child before he got married, I always tell them, divorce the child. Either than that, you cannot marry the man. Because when you give the attention so much to the children, you neglect the others. So the woman, what it needs is balance. You should not say that because of the pregnancy, my libido is gone. Pregnancy and sex is the sweetest.
But what if in her case?
Yes, whatever it is, then watch Joy Prime. Why? Because people ought to be educated. The issue is about when ignorance is at work, the most dangerous thing I've ever come across is ignorance. When people are naive, they live in the world and they think that what they are doing is right.
Right.
So what do you need? You need education. The man also needs education. Then there should be balance. When there's balance, there's compromise. Then you'll be able to handle it. Then effective communication can come in. That you should understand. You see, the way we communicate will let the person understand or be at the other side. But when you approach the issue in a manner that the person will understand in his language, he will take yours. They will come to that compromise. They will begin to work with it. They need knowledge. It's a problem of ignorance.
Mr. Malang, our second caller also said she's been married for 13 years and she says that for some months now her husband has not done anything with her. I think she said about 8 months. In 30 years. And for the past 8 months,
8 years.
8 years, nothing has really gone on. So now the man wants to come back and, you know, do things. And she's asking that, is it a form of abuse? What should she do?
Yeah, so the name is Maluk.
Maluk, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so 30 years and they haven't had intimacy for 8 months or 8 years. And the man wants to come back.
Yeah.
The question is, are they separated? Maybe not divorced, but are they separated? Do they live together? You know, there are other things that we need to know. Is it abuse if she declines or refuses him if they are still together? I mean, like we said, there are various forms of it. And if she's using sex to deny him because she believes that over the past 8 months or 8 years, he had also been away from her, that would be a form of abuse because she probably wants to let him know that she was not happy with what he did. What is the way forward? They've got to talk about it. So, I mean, it is good she's speaking out or speaking up about it because she's concerned and she wants the best. So to talk about it like she's doing. The next thing is that the two of them have to meet and address whatever issues she has with respect to the fact that he had been away for this period or he had not tried to be intimate with her. And so those specific issues can be addressed, whether they were stresses, whether they were misunderstandings, so those can be addressed. And then if she doesn't want it to be a form of abuse, she should willingly and be ready for them to resolve all these issues so that they can get back to their sexual life. And like Reverend Anand said, sex is supposed to be part of marriage and sex is very good. And so both of them can enjoy that gift that, God gave them. Yeah, so the other point I want to make is that to help them get back to their pastime, because clearly she said they have not been intimate for some time, they should be able to look at what are the things that brought them together years ago. What are the, that made them, become intimate and they were enjoying their sex life, and try to reactivate those things. If it is going out, if it's going to movies, if it is just hanging around and sitting down on a bench and talking, they should look at all that and then reactivate those pastime.
Mr. Maluk, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. We really appreciate your time. I wish we could go on and on, but as Pastor said, keep watching Joy Prime because definitely we'll be having conversations of these here on the show. And back to you, Pastor. Of course, I really want to thank you. I want to talk more, but as you said, I would want our viewers to keep watching Joy Prime because this conversation doesn't end today. There's more to it, and we'll definitely need to know the effects, how we can help men, and especially the women. You need to listen attentively, and if you have any challenge, maybe you could actually, catch up with counselor, ask him or pastor, and ask him all the questions so that he can also, direct you on how to go about some of these things so that the marriage can go on and be a beautiful one. We don't want any divorce. We don't want anyone leaving to say that you are not giving me this, you are not giving me that, you are not doing this for me. We don't want that. Counselor, I want to say thank you once again for coming on the show. And I believe that we'll have this conversation again because it doesn't end today. Sure. Of course, time wouldn't permit us, but we'll come back again on this topic again. Okay. Yeah. Well, we are going to go on a quick break. When we come back, there's more here on Prime Morning.